and welcome everybody after 18 months. We're so happy to be here. And we want to thank everyone, everyone who's here in the studio helping us tape right now, all the folks who've stayed with us during really challenging times that haven't even stopped yet. It's been very bad for a lot of people. There's been a lot of hurt out there. But what we've worked really hard on over the last 18 months is keeping our Guitar Tales community alive. We worked with SCART guitarist Engel, our publicist, Riverview Studios, and what we did was we switched over, and a lot of good, in a very sad way, has come out of COVID. So we started the Fireside Chat series where we met a lot of people we wouldn't otherwise meet, and that's going to stay alive. And what's really nice is through the whole thing, we talked to everyone at Riverview, and they helped us edit our shows, they helped us promote our shows, but here we are, back in the studio again. We're very, very happy to be here, and thank all of you folks for sticking with us. The numbers on Facebook and on Audible and on Spotify have been crazy for Guitar Tales. Scott's done a fabulous job of getting everything we do as a podcast. So if you're interested, if you have a long ride and you want to stay awake, give us a listen. You can literally say to your phone, play Guitar Tales with Dave Cohen, and it'll start playing for you. Audible you can do, Spotify, Facebook Watch, everything is there. But right now I want to thank our guest. I've been giggling since the minute you got here because we're going to have so much fun tonight. Vic Ramos, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. It's our pleasure. We have so many guests. I don't know if you guys can sort of pan around right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 guests. We had a ghost move one of our guests. We have these 2 guys here.
Right.
You are not just a guitar maker, not just a luthier, but you're an artist who does it.
Yes.
So we have so many guitars to talk about. This is a gear show tonight.
Okay.
And I want to know what got you into, first, the more conventional builds that you worked on, and then what got you, as I think you said, a little crazy.
Yes. What happened was I had a little too much time on my hands, and I was buying Les Pauls to collect. And I just got in my head that, hey, maybe I can make a guitar. So I got together some wood, watched a whole lot of YouTube videos, and made my first guitar, and it was horrible.
Okay.
It was firewood.
Wow.
It took a number of years before I really learned how to set a neck, and I did a lot of sanding. I ruined a lot of maple.
Right.
And it was a fun thing to do. And as you build, you get a little bit better each time, up until the point where you have a playable working guitar that doesn't feed back like crazy or look like my nose.
Right.
So
and the intonation, I'm sure, is a challenge.
I learned to do setups, intonations. I learned about the spacing of the neck and the tailpiece and the bridge.
Yeah.
The electronics, shielding is so important. I found that out the hard way.
Oh yeah.
And you plug it in and you hear.
Right, because when you dig out the guts, I'm pointing at the only guitar you have that doesn't have guts that I can see I'm pointing at.
Yes.
So if you look at the guts, if you pull that out, there's usually like a little piece of metal back there.
They make
almost aluminum foil.
They make a copper tape. And so you're going to solder a ground wire to the copper tape and just line the whole thing with copper tape. And it's almost as good as if it was contained in a aluminum box, which is what Gibson does that. They actually put a box around their electronics.
Interesting. Now, I want to go further back in time. So we've got the basics of what you do. Let's go back to high school.
Oh.
Have a drink.
I'll drink to that.
Cheers, by the way. Cheers. So,
Salute.
So you're back in high school. Mm-hmm. Are you a guitar player yet?
Badly, very badly.
Let's toast again, because I suck on guitar.
Oh, I had a paper route.
Okay.
And Mom made me save most of my paycheck. Hi, Mom. I'm famous. But and I saw a Guild Madeira at the Harmony Hut in 1974.
Okay. How old are you?
14.
Okay.
And I begged.
Okay, I did the math.
I begged them. Yeah, I was born in '60.
Okay.
I begged my parents, and my mother and father went back and forth, and finally I was able to spend $110.
Isn't it funny how we remember? My Tisco was like $25.
Oh, there you go.
My 4-pickup Tisco.
There you go. I think it was a single pickup Guild Madeira. It was metallic cherry,
Was
double
it
cut.
Okay, was it electric?
Yes, it was electric.
Okay.
So I had no amp.
So like an SG stylish kind of guitar?
Something like that, but the rounded horns, very rounded horns.
All right.
I used an old Bogan amp.
Oh, those are nice. A tube?
Yeah, it was tubes. Yeah, everything was
Bogan.
tubes.
Not a guitar Bogan, right?
It was a Bogan something. I don't remember.
That was a high-end company back
It had a 6-inch cone in a. It was I guess what they call an over and under. You have the amp and you have the.
Oh, so you had a one piece
Yeah, it was one piece.
Because Bogan was like a high fidelity company that made high-end tube stereo equipment back in the day.
I didn't even know what I was looking at. My father was in the Air Force in electronics, so when he came home, he brought all this boxes of stuff.
Right.
Plugs and speakers, and I got to tell a funny story. I once plugged a speaker into the wall to see what it would happen, and the cone blew across the room, and I got shocked.
That's fantastic.
I learned. That's how you learn.
Now, did someone have an iPhone when that happened back in 1975?
No, thank God. Thank God. I'll never run for office.
Yeah. So are you in bands at all, or is it just you sitting in your bedroom playing guitar?
I would set up everything on the deck, and I had a 12-inch reel-to-reel.
Really?
And I would play badly and record it and play it back, and the neighbors would complain.
Okay.
We were in Hardyston, New Jersey, and we had an acre. That's Sussex County, up in the what they
By
call
the Water Gap, right?
the Pimple Hills of Sussex County.
Okay.
But near the water, near High Point.
Okay.
So it's way up there.
Right.
I was in a band, and we were horrible.
Okay. What was the name of your band?
Well, I performed at high school. It was Vic and the Red Raiders.
Oh, I love that. Vic and the Red Raiders. That's a good name.
And we played during the last
For
assembly.
For a shitty band, it's a good name.
Yeah.
Okay.
The senior year we played, and I borrowed Tom Apilla's bass, and I turned it too loud, and all you could hear was me thumping away.
Oh, that's fun.
And the drummer, and it was a lot of fun. And I sang, "Can't Get Enough of Your Love."
Well, if you guys were good enough to play at a high school event, you were. I have to be careful because Scott's.
We were horrible.
Here. Scott is in the building, and he was in my horrible high school band.
Oh, okay.
I was in his horrible high school band. All right. So you're a guitar player.
Not really.
Right. So you're a guitar hacker.
Yes. That's perfect.
And did you ever stop playing guitar, or is that your whole life has guitar been a steady theme?
Yes. I stopped. What happened was I got in with a band that had all the pieces, all the players they needed. I wound up doing lights, so I built lights out of peach cans.
Really?
And I would light in a Paccon, New Jersey. There's 110 bars around, so we would play at Pappy's Roadhouse, close the bar down at, say, 2 o'clock, and then we'd bar hop until 4. Everything closed at 4.
With the band or with you guys just drinking?
With the band, and then I'd drive home about 40 minutes. Blind.
Okay.
So God had my back, because there's no way I fell asleep in the 1969 Fury 3 going down the road at 70 miles an hour.
And you fell asleep.
And I woke up just before the light, which was red, and I was able to stop.
Wow. Yeah, somebody took care of you.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Those were wild, fun days.
Right. So then you keep going, and is there ever a time when just music leaves you and you came back to it, or was music always?
Yeah, music really left. For a period of time, I wound up working there was a college stint, and I hated office work. So I wound up working in the trades, and there was a point where I put everything away to help raise 3 stepchildren.
Okay.
It was time to put everything away, and the priorities.
Right.
Sometimes you don't have time to sit around and hack.
No, I know.
And I even stopped building because everything was, I was the, what would you call it, the helicopter stepdad?
Okay, right.
Soccer, karate, lacrosse, pick this one up, drop that one.
So now in the trades, what were you doing?
I do a little bit of everything,
Okay.
But I started in 1981 as an electrician's helper, pulling very heavy wire through a 4-inch pipe in a button-making factory in Englewood, New Jersey.
Well, I'm looking here. You've got the Popeye forearms going on, right? Like you're someone I wouldn't arm wrestle.
Well.
But you look like someone who's worked hard. But you weren't, during those years, you were not doing creative building, per se.
Nothing like that. I was trying to survive. Those were the 80s.
So you were making your nut. You were taking care of your stepkids, trying to
Well,
be a good
the
husband.
stepkids came much later, but when I was single for a long time and just had a good time.
Now, do you have a history in art? Because you know, as we get into talking about all the things you built, you've got artistic, really in a really good way. You have artistic tendencies and artistic flair about you.
I think that flair exists in everybody. It depends on whether they want to develop it. I think everybody has a certain gift of something. The thing is that if you don't have the time, if you're always working 2 jobs to pay off your college loans, you're not going to be thinking of some heavy metal song or some Beatles love song. You're going to be like, oh man, my life, I got to drive from A to B. And at one point I was sleeping in the car between shifts because I was working out on Long Island and I was, you know, I was trying to pay off college loans. So I've lived in a lot of different places, and if you don't have the time, or if you're not motivated to create, if you're concentrating on survival and paying off debts and stuff, you know, your mind turns to a more regimented, less creative. You sort of shut that out.
Right. Now, did you, during that period of time when you're just trying to survive, you know, put food on the table, make your rent or mortgage or what have you, did you feel those thoughts in your head, like, you know, that sort of yelling at you, I want more?
Yes, because I was making sculptures out of keys. Like,
so there you
I
go.
was drawing pictures in notebooks. It doesn't, you try to stop it.
Yeah,
but, but it comes pouring out of you. And then what happened was the kids, a couple of years ago, the kids are out of school.
Yeah.
I had no ambitions to do anything but oil paint. I love portraiture.
Oh, wait. You fucker. So there's a whole, all right, so let's come back. Now I want to talk about that. So this artistic side of you.
Right.
So you want to come back to oil. I want to start at your oil. So when did that start?
Maybe we start before that. The wife wanted to get me out of the house during the evenings.
Who wouldn't?
I know. And I had just quit Bordentown Community Players, which I had, I guess, a 5-year run with them and did 7 or 8 or 9 plays, and I loved it. Loved being on stage. There's a hyperactivity to it that I can focus.
So you're an actor too?
Part-time, I was.
This is fascinating.
But I went out for, what was it, Jesus Christ Superstar at the Mercer County College.
Yep.
And all the off-Broadway guys there, and they can sing high C, so I wasn't getting a part.
Right.
So I was home, and Betsy's like, I got to get him out of the house. She gets me for my birthday a gift certificate.
So what year are we at right now?
Oh, God.
Ballpark.
This is 10 years ago.
So 10 years ago, you've already had the you've had the acting bug?
I've had the acting bug, and people stopped going to theater. That's what happened.
Okay.
We just couldn't financially keep going.
Theater, the small local nonprofit.
We were playing in Crosswicks. We were playing in a high school in Burlington, I think it was. And so I got a gift certificate, and I wanted to draw castles.
To draw castles?
Yeah, to go to Zena Uman, who lives right across from the high school, and to get me out of the house.
Right.
And she's like, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to draw castles. So I start to take lessons from her in perspective.
So what planet, and I think it's so cool. So of all the things for the plastic arts, as they say, what made you attracted to castles? Is it the structure, the architecture?
I always wanted to live in a castle.
Okay.
And my grandparents had a house with a turret. And the turret on the first floor was the dining room. And on the second floor was a huge closet with racks of clothing. And my sister, Annalisa, and I used to chase each other around in the racks. There was a secret staircase going up from, like, next to the dining room up. So we would run up and down anytime we visited.
So there's a warmth to the memory of a style of architecture that brings you to castles.
Yes.
So you're almost trying to reconnect with a happy youth.
With a happy childhood, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
And the funny thing is, when I went to Ireland and saw how drafty castles were, that cured me.
That's right.
They're big and empty, and they're cold as heck.
Well,
but
yeah, you know what it's like? It's like in the middle of summer, we'll get all wistful for the beautiful snowfalls in winter.
So you have to shovel it.
Yeah, and until you freeze your ass
off. I did a whole book of drawings, and I kept going past the initial stage, and then I was like, I'd like to paint Adam and God from the Sistine Chapel.
Wow.
So I downloaded some high-quality GIFs, I guess they are, from the internet. And by the way, the stuff available on the internet is better than seeing it in person because I've done both.
Wow.
And the Sistine Chapel is this small little venue with 40-foot ceilings. And after you've been in St. Peter's with 100-foot ceilings,
Yep.
the chapel is actually a chapel.
Yeah, yeah.
So the pictures are better than being there.
Yeah, I was at St. Peter's, and it's,
okay,
it's hard to see.
It's hard to see up that high.
Yeah.
But you are blown away by the spirituality and
yeah.
just being there, the whole trip to Rome.
Right.
But anyway, so I wanted to oil paint, and I didn't know anything about oil paints. And one instructor yelled at me because I was licking the paintbrush, and he says, cadmium red and cadmium yellow are radioactive. You're going to go crazy.
And you're like, too late.
Yeah, it's too late for that. I was a Ritalin baby, so what do I care?
Right, right.
So I got into oil painting, and I love portraiture.
Really?
I just fell right into it.
And you had a comfort level, and that, putting humility aside, I'm taking you had some talent for that.
I'm an A-
Right.
portrait painter, maybe an A, maybe an A-.
That's great.
Because I don't get everything perfect, but I've done a series of presidents, and they're hanging in the courtroom in town in Columbus.
Oh, that's great. So at the municipal court.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been there many times.
Oh, okay. So if you see any oil portraits of, so I did Lisa Mona's older sister, because you never get anything perfect, but you put a little bit of yourself, and all the self-portraits of the presidents sort of look like me. I don't know why.
So with your childhood,
Yeah.
did you, when you would be in art class, were you good at it, or is it more like later in life you just?
Oh, I bloomed much. I was a late bloomer, physically and mentally.
Right.
When I was young, I was a big-time chess player,
Okay.
but I wasn't thinking about the arts at all. But I was drawing. My sister gave me a high school book that I left during one of my
competent
moves.
at that point.
I was drawing muscle guys.
Right, because it's easy. You draw the
14-year-olds.
things, and you draw the smaller and the
Yeah.
smaller. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess I was a late bloomer, and I also opened myself up.
Right.
I said to myself, I'm going to open myself to ideas wherever they come from, good or bad, and then I'll sift through and decide. So to make a long story short, a couple of years ago, my doctor said, you can make a long story long on this show. Okay, your PSA levels are high, but you're Latino, and they run hotter. But just go to the urologist and see. Well, I had cancer.
Oh, wow.
And I had cancer from 3 to 5 years already.
Oh.
So they found out that it was all contained, and they pulled it out, and I'm fine.
Right,
I'm perfect now. I've had many tests, 0 of PSA.
Good.
But when they tell you you have cancer, you immediately go deaf.
Meaning?
You don't hear anything. You're sitting at the table with 5 guys, and they say,
Right.
"Oh, your test came back positive." Bang! Everything
world
shuts down.
Yeah.
I'm going to die. So of course I wasn't going to die but the shock of it.
And that. So I'm taking it that did something to your artistic sensibilities and realigned your.
I had been doing art for many years, but
that was a sentinel event.
Oh yeah.
So big time. How did it affect your art?
Well, I went through the 5 stages of grief, I think it's called, where I was going to eat 35 nuts of a certain fruit to get rid of the cancer, which wasn't going to work.
That works.
The internet is a great place. Everything on it's true.
You get all your medicine off the internet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, what happened was I got back and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do what I love. I'm going to create. So
that's where I'm going to. Yes.
I put the recording studio back together. Wow. I got a garage band is cheap and easy, but I got a 32-channel board. I have a very expensive microphone I'm still making payments on that I should never have bought because I'm not Frank Sinatra.
Right. But you can sing, which is great.
I'm working on an album now called Alternator. It's about chicks and cars. and it's just, I'm having the time of my life.
Oh, that's
fantastic. That's switched.
Are you every piece of that band?
I have drum tracks.
Okay.
I can't play. I even bought drums after I went through the rehab, and I'm like, no, I can't do this. And my brother is a proficient drummer.
Oh, really?
But and he plays banjo wonderfully. But I'm like, no, I can't do all this at once. It's too much.
Right.
But I can play bass, and I have a number of keyboards, and
you could do all that. And
I
you
have
could sing.
I have like 50 guitars? I don't know.
50 guitars?
I lost count. Well, I made a lot of guitars, but I also have the 7 Les Pauls and the Fender Strat and a fretless Honer that I gave to my brother, which I should never have given him because I love that guitar.
He's a jerk. Let me give it back to you. So, all right, so this is, like, we could do 5 hours, but we can't. So, all right, so here you are, you have this Sentinel event, and I feel like it realigned your priorities. Is that fair?
Yeah, because you only get a certain amount of time on this orb.
That's what they tell us.
And well, it's true. And when your friends from high school start dying, then you're like, some very popular people passed in the last 5 years, and I'm like, you know what? I better go do what I love, and the only way I'm going to be remembered is by what I produce, the art I produce.
And being remembered is sort of what makes your mark permanent, right?
Yeah, I mean, if most of us live on through our children.
Right.
So I helped raise 3, and they're wonderful.
Right.
But I want to have something that in 500 years people say, oh yeah, that's a Ramos. Never going to happen, but you know, it's something to strive for.
You know what? They're going to remember this tape right here.
Oh yes, we'll be on the other net.
The other net, we'll call
Whatever's next.
Yeah, that's right.
Whatever's next.
It's just going to be a chip that gets implanted in our heads.
You're reading my mind.
Yeah, I just did.
Yeah,
but,
you did.
All right, so you get this 10-ish years ago, right? Is that when you had the cancer, or was it more recently?
2 years ago.
Oh, it was 2 years
2
ago.
years ago, yeah. So the kids being out of the house and stuff didn't trigger anything really.
Right.
But this is a salient event that just hit me like a ton of bricks, and it was like, okay, what are you going to do? And then my brother gave me a pep talk. He goes, now you got all the time in the world.
Right.
What are you going to do? So I put everything back together, and I'm recording every night. I'm singing. I'm working on We Are the Champions right now, and I have a 1.5 octave, and he's got a 4-octave range.
Right.
So I'm taking lessons on YouTube. I'm fortifying my voice.
So what's really cool, I have this theory, and I talk to a lot of our guests about it. You know, from a creative point of view, you know, I'll bring him up. I hope he's not listening. Like, you know, Phil Collins. I think he kind of spent his creativity. I think it's kind of gone. You know, like I feel like, you know,
he had a good run, though.
He had a great run. Even Elton John, there's certain people that use it up, but then there's certain people, so you weren't really taxing that much of whatever your muse gave you. Your muse gave you, you know, 500 cc's of creativity or whatever he or she gave you, and you weren't really using too much of it up until recently, and now you've got this incredible, I mean, you were doing other things.
You know, I forgot about, in 1981, I had a Tascam 4-track, and I had 110 songs.
Wow.
And I was just producing and working the 2 jobs.
Wow.
And producing. I lived in a room in Englewood.
Doing all that. Wow.
During all that, and hiding the equipment under the bed.
Well, another interesting thing, though.
And that came and went.
Yeah.
And then I put that down.
But you keep switching gears, and maybe that's how you keep your artistic, creative energy. You know, like let's say, like as an example, if you had that Tascam or the newest iteration, you would just use, I don't know my phone here, but you would just use an iPhone. You could probably do it with GarageBand or something. But you know, you'll exhaust a certain amount of creativity, but then you maybe go back to real life, and that kind of recharges your batteries. And then when you come back, you're doing this, or you know, you're doing painting, or you're doing recording again, or building. And I wonder what it is that's allowing you. I'm 4 years younger, but we're similar in age.
Right.
You've got a boatload of creativity still in you, and I wonder if it's the switching gears from one medium to another is what's doing it.
It really helps, because if I get really hung up on a bridge on a song and I can't get to the next thing, I might go paint a still life, which by the way never do, because you can't give them away.
Okay.
Still lifes. But
okay.
I'm missing painting. I haven't picked up the brush in, I guess, a while. But I will go and draw a guitar concept for something, and then come back fresh.
Right. Because you've got a big, I could feel it emanating from you. You've got a big reserve of creative energy in you, and you've gotten this amazing outlet.
But I also have the time.
Right.
And most people, I've got a luxury most people never get, is that they work until they retire, and they're exhausted, and they have no room. I was a hyperactive little kid.
Right.
I was an original Ritalin baby.
Right.
And I couldn't focus, and with the Ritalin it worked, but I should have been 6'6". That's the only drawback.
Oh, that's what Ritalin does?
Yeah, it stunts your growth.
So I want to segue a little bit because I realized we've been ignoring our guests.
Oh, okay.
So let's. So 2-ish years ago, you have this Sentinel event that turns out on the good side of things,
Right.
but it gave you the scare of your lifetime.
Right, right.
You realign yourself and you figure, you know what? I'm going to now take my creative energy and put it toward building. So
This is 10 years.
Oh, it is?
This is quite a while ago I had started because I was doing a lot of basements.
Okay.
And I had the time and the money
Okay.
to buy. Oh, it's for me. It's the ghost. That's okay. Hi. Hi, Dad. But anyway, I had the time to buy some collector's edition Gibsons.
Okay.
And I was like looking at the workmanship and thinking I could do it, which I couldn't at the time.
Right.
But I learned. So I had put that away too. I sort of lost the will to create for a while there.
I mean, look, the reality, it probably has something to do with you being a Ritalin baby, is that something's going to grab your attention for a while, and then you might get excited about something and come back.
And raising kids is exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah.
The soccer and the lacrosse and the
There's very little
helicopter
reserve
step,
left.
and then they started dating.
Yeah.
And then you go to pick them up. You got to wait in the car, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm my father now.
That's right. That's right.
So I want to take you at least through the initial steps of making a guitar.
I want to hear.
But
let's set the stage,
Okay.
and then I want to hear that. So you've always worked with your hands, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. So you get the bug. You want to learn how to build guitars.
Right.
And you brought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 11 guitars. And by the way, although Justin disagrees with us, the guitar in the end over there, the saw guitar, as we were getting ready to tape, everyone in the studio watched it jump on its own under its own power. We do have spirits here at Riverview.
The DeWalt guitar, yes. They like that guitar.
They do, and they saved it because it jumped, but it didn't fall out of the stand.
And it could easily have fallen.
And literally probably about 8 or 9 of us in the studio, we all saw it.
And it weighs 20 pounds.
Yeah.
So when that goes down, it's going to make a noise.
Yeah. So you brought a bunch of guitars.
Yes.
I'm currently, as we start our story, most intrigued by the one in the middle over here.
The Coffin, that's number 6. I've sold 5, I think, now.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah.
All right.
I built one for me, and that's for sale. Anybody want to buy it? I can build another.
That's the one I carried in from your car. It's very cool. All right, so I'm going to shut up for a minute and let you give us the narrative, because you wanted to show us, under that very cool hat, how the process starts.
Okay. As a segue, I did make a COVID mask for myself. Thank you.
I have the same one at home.
Yeah, I'll bet you do. They made these in the 14 and 1500s and stuffed them with spices, thinking that they would prevent the plague.
Really?
It didn't work.
I bet it didn't.
So anyway, first I get an idea for a guitar, or I see somebody else's guitar that's grossly overpriced.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm not paying. I can show you a guitar that was $1,200, and I'm like, are you kidding?
Right.
And it was made on a CNC machine, so there was no artistic carving, there was no sanding, nobody cut their hands.
What's a CNC machine?
A computer-controlled cutter.
Oh, okay.
So you put a billet of wood or aluminum even on it.
Yeah.
You set the program, and it'll cut you a perfect Les Paul.
Like a 3D printer almost.
That's what they're doing now. And they have a 5-gang CNC printer over at Gibson, and they're pumping out these $5,000 guitars 5 at a time.
Wow.
And they just run 24 hours a day. And they say we don't have enough guitars. I looked it up. We sell between 1.5 million and 2.5 million guitars in the United States every year. Wow. And it's down to 1.1 million with last year because people were just home. And it was hard to get materials, and it was hard to get the guitars.
Is that pine on top?
This is a piece of
no, that's not pine.
Figured maple. And you can see a little fire right here. I don't know if you can get close enough to see it, but I go through every pile of wood at every hardware store, anywhere I can find.
Wow.
And
the marbling, is that the right word for it?
Yeah, flame or marble or figure.
Okay.
And see, this piece is kind of dead, and then it repeats itself. So I'll get an idea for a guitar, I'll draw it out.
Right.
Then I'll take a piece of wood, and I'll cut it down the middle this way.
Okay.
And if you cut it down the middle, then you have 2 mirror images, and you put them side by side, and that's called book matching.
That makes perfect sense.
And then you have a mirror image. It's beautiful, really impossible to do.
And is that going to be almost like a laminate for the surface?
Yes, this will be the maple top.
Okay.
It'll be a little less than 3/8 of an inch thick, But maple is so stiff that it resonates, and it sounds almost like an acoustic guitar if it gets thin enough.
Wow.
And I have made it thin enough where it cracks. You've got to get rid of the guitar.
So what is your equipment to cut something that thin in half?
I use a typical table saw and work my way through.
Yeah, because I know I couldn't do that.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's difficult. I've had pieces of wood fly the other way. You lose your grip, and
I
it
almost
flies.
lost my hand last night on my tabletop.
Oh, it's so dangerous.
Yeah, I had a block of cedar that I'm cutting to make coasters for my daughter.
Okay.
Because it's so fragrant, and I was down to one this big, and I thought, oh, I can cut an inch off of that, and I don't know what happened, but as it caught it, I just like lightning looked the other way. It jerked my whole hand, and I looked down. I'm like, all right, there's no blood. And,
That's good.
And by the way, reminiscent of Something About Mary.
Okay.
I'm looking around. I can't find the piece that flew out. I have no idea where it went.
Okay.
I was like Ben Stiller, except it was less embarrassing.
Yes.
I was alone and it was a piece of wood.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was just last night. So, and then my fingers didn't hurt too badly, but it was scary. So you got that. So,
Okay, so you book match this, and you wind up with something similar to this.
Oh, let me hold
Here
that.
you go. That's been stained and sanded and stained and sanded maybe 4 times.
Oh, look at that. That's
So-
a nice.
So that's a black, and then there's the red. And I just keep working it.
And what are you going to, so this is, well, like, is this like 600, 800 grit, the sandpaper you're going to use?
I go to 3,000. Wow. Actually, you know what I go to? The last thing is I put the nap down, newspaper.
Really?
Crumpled up newspaper, just that last little bit of grain that has to go down.
Oh,
so this is book match. This piece, very similar to this.
See, there's
Cut down the middle, flip it over. You're going to see the seams and all the nastiness that you had to go through to get there.
Oh, right, yeah, because there's a lip over here.
Now, because all my guitars are hollow, all I have to do is make sure that this area here and this area here is flat.
Right.
You can have a seam in the inside.
Right, and even this little bad boy here, there's a lip over here.
That'll sand right out because I'm just going to put like a spacer ring.
Are you going to sand that out when you finalize it?
This is a display piece.
Oh, but I mean, like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would sand it out so that the inch going around is perfectly flat.
Right. That's interesting. Yeah, this is all roughed up, but you don't need this. You don't care about the lip.
I don't care about inside.
Right.
And that's a 4-piece top. Here's the 2 little pieces that make it just 13 1/4, which is a Les Paul size.
So what are you going to do? So what kind of glue are you going to use when you do this?
Tight bound, the superior grade.
Okay.
The most expensive I can find because I want it to stay together forever.
So now, because there's a little bit of curve to this,
yeah.
What is your contraption to really bind these tight when you're doing it?
I will sand a piece of anywhere from mahogany to sarsaparilla to cedar, anything that's, those woods are going to be dark and low toned. The maple is going to be snappy.
Okay.
And
say that again?
Snappy.
Okay, thanks. All right.
and I'm a joy around kids.
Yeah.
But
you're 12 years old like I am.
Just about.
Yeah.
I will sand a taper the base.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because this you go to this side.
It's almost like a nice belly. Yeah.
All right.
It's almost like an arch top, but arch tops are a whole different ballgame.
There's a nice curvature to it.
Right.
This is super
thank
cool.
You.
All right.
So anyway, so after I've spent so much time sanding and sanding and sanding, here's the initial glue up.
Oh my God, look at this.
Okay, that's for you.
Look at this.
The neck pocket has been cut. The electronics have been installed, but not soldered yet, I don't think. There's a pickup. Yeah, they're not soldered yet.
You got the pots here.
There's a pickup. It's got 3 or 4 coats of lacquer on it.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
When you say lacquer, it's not polyurethane, or is it?
Not poly. It's lacquer.
Poly's soft, right?
I think that they both achieve the hardness. I just like poly looks plasticky.
I know.
This is more natural.
Yeah, I mean, I'm building a piece of furniture right now.
Oh, okay. I go lacquer.
Lazied out.
No, if it's furniture, you can use poly.
I don't like it, but I did it.
Okay. So you can see it's a little dusty, but
yeah, but there's a hardness to the sheen here.
Yeah.
That's really nice. And I mean, if I look really hard, I could see,
Yeah.
But it's gorgeous.
And I think that's a 4-piece top.
Let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the back,
It's just a regular. This was an experiment. This is only a 1/4 inch thick.
Yeah.
That's actually a heavy
And
guitar.
look at this. Look how cool this is.
Yeah, we cut the neck pocket, and it's pretty hollow in there.
Yeah,
But that
it's very
gives it a good
light.
sound.
Yeah, it's very
Well, for me, that's heavier than what I build now.
Yeah, there's
Now the ones I build weigh half of that.
wow, yeah, there's a little bit of heft to it.
Yeah.
But I love
And
this design.
if you
I've
flip
never
it
seen
over,
anything like this.
you can see the copper tape inside.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
rounding to
I
keep
don't know,
it from
let's
buzzing.
see if the camera can pick that
Yeah.
up. There's right in there. Perfect. I'm watching on the camera there. I'm going to sort of do this. You can see what's reflecting there is the copper, which is fantastic. I'm trying to read the sign. I think we're 35 minutes in.
Wow.
Look at that.
I'm impressed.
My eyes stink, by the way, Monica.
It's been like 20 minutes for me.
These shows always go by like lightning because
Wow.
they're fun.
So you were talking about this spacer?
Yeah.
And for a time, I was putting a spacer in between the tone woods. So this will be a mahogany
Right.
or any number of
Oh,
dark
your
woods.
creative
And
juices said.
I'm always trying to improve the product
Yeah.
and make it hollower.
Yeah.
So, but you can see that this is a full 3/4 inch thick. There's a lot of sanding involved to try and get it so that it doesn't leave a dent in your leg when you're playing.
Oh, right.
But-
So your yeah. So
And
this is soft.
I also tapered the arm part so that it wouldn't leave a dent in your arm as you're playing.
Oh yeah,
a little bit.
So right here, yeah, you've got.
I didn't get
there's
too
a
carried away.
softness to it right there.
And
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm feeling it right here.
So-
right here, there is a really nice tapering, or curvature to it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much the camera can pick it up, but this is not flat here. If you look at the gap between my hand, let's see, we'll do it like that. There we go. So you can see really nice tapering there.
well, I took a 1/2 inch out because there's only
Yeah.
a 1/4 inch at the edge.
Yeah.
there. So
see
yeah.
there, that shows you how much is out. So it's really comfortable. If you're in it, yeah, this feels really good right here.
And I've even moved way past that and turned that into a display piece to show what I used to do.
So now, which guitar do you want to start with? Of the folks?
Okay, well, we're going to go. I can't really get up.
Could maybe someone will help us grab one? Or I can,
I guess I could reach over. I don't want to.
let's start with this guy. All right.
Okay, so I wanted to make Les Pauls. So this is a piece of mahogany. It's two-piece back.
Oh my God, I'm going to interrupt you. I'm
Yeah.
already looking at the back. It's gorgeous.
Oh,
Wait
well,
till-
thank you. It's
Look at
just a
that.
guitar.
That is, well, let me Vanna White it. I want to Vanna
Sure,
White it.
go ahead. It's heavy, by the way.
Oh,
it's
that
a
is heavy.
It's a solid body Les Paul, except it's tapered the
that.
way Les Paul is not
So
tapered.
all right, let's see if we can get this on camera, just to give people a sense as to how much tapering we have here.
That was an improvement on the Les Pauls
Oh
because
my God.
they're big and boxy.
That's what grabbed me, is that just this curvature right here, it's first of all, it's stunning because it shows off the wood grain right here. And that's a really deep cutaway right there. It's
It was a
beautiful.
lot of sanding, all day sand. And the
Yeah.
front's the same.
So
the
what
front's
do you,
also
do you use
tapered.
an orbital, or what do you use?
I use a reciprocating sander, and I'll just keep
Is that
going
the
and
same
going.
as orbital? Is that the same thing?
No, the orbital is a flat 5-inch disc that
That's
goes
what I
like
have.
this.
Yeah.
But the problem is the orbital leaves marks.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
So what does a reciprocating do?
I have a rigid reciprocating sander that has sanding tubes, and it spins, but it also goes up and down. So it's very efficient, and when you get it down to 220, it doesn't leave marks.
Okay. So what is the finish we have here? Is this a...
This is lacquer again. And it's, by the way, this is really old. This is probably 7 years old.
Wow.
And it has never been played because I'm always on to the next build.
Right, right. This is fantastic. And even on this side, there's really, like on the front, there's a really fantastic tapered cutaway over here. And then on the back. So this, what I noticed that's why I interrupted you earlier, it gets sharp over here.
yeah.
If the whole thickness of the body is maybe 1 1/4 or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Here, it's a 1/4 inch right here, something like that.
Yeah. Well, the body will be 1.5 because it's 2 3/4 inch pieces.
Okay.
This might even be 1 inch. It might be 1 3/4 on the
Okay.
thickest part. But I did a lot of sanding because it's a beautiful piece of wood.
It is.
And it was worth the effort just to keep working it.
And I'm looking here. Look at the sort of what would the term be where it gets darker right here?
Figure.
The figure.
There's some figuring there. There's some spalting.
Yeah.
It's where maybe a bug got in and started eating it. There's also a knot right here.
Yeah. Those are beautiful when you.
So
think
I've
those.
seen some beautiful. Yeah.
So this is great, and it almost doesn't matter because this is all about the craftsmanship. You have 2 Seymour Duncans on here, really pretty.
Oh, thank you.
I love the creativity of the colored pick guard.
I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So I got a
Did
piece
you machine that yourself?
Yeah, I got a piece of diamond plate and heavy-duty shears, and then I sanded and sanded and sanded. And
That's where you could really get hurt, by the way.
yeah, I know.
That's where you could like slice up a tendon or something like that.
Yes, yes.
And then the back, nice and
Agreed.
clean. There's no back entrance. You got it. If you want to work on it, you
It
gotta
all
go
goes through the front.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have a back excess.
And you got a nice 4-bolt neck. It's nice and solid instead of the 3-bolt that my old Strat had.
Oh yes, yes, yeah.
They're
Oh,
good.
yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, that's when they that was the post CBS.
Oh, CBS. Okay.
Yeah, when they went to the 3-bolt necks and they weren't as sturdy.
And Gibson had its Norland years. Ooh.
Oh, and they
I could
did
tell
3
you
bolts
stories.
too?
No, but the workmanship went.
Wow, this is. So let's see which one.
Okay. Which one is next?
We have 2 convenient guys
Okay.
right here. Which one do you want to start with?
Before I got crazy, this one. This
Okay.
is state of the art for me.
Oh,
it
this
should
is
be
light.
light. It's hollow. It's
Oh,
got a
look at
1/4 inch
this.
top. That's maple
Wow.
again with the mahogany back. The mahogany is routed, so it's totally hollow in there.
Wow, this is a. Oh, look at. Oh, yeah, I can't wait to show the back. But let's start with its face. It's got
Okay,
a pretty
so
face. And
That's literally the best I can do for Les Paul.
it's just such a cool design. It's such a creative cut.
It's almost an ovation back. I tried to really take as much
Yeah.
material as I could and make it as comfortable. I didn't arch this, but that's because
No, but
the
you have
wood
the
was.
bead over here, so the bead
Right.
requires you to have a nice sharp edge over here.
And when you take this edge off, you lose the figuring. Because
yeah.
the wood is cut at a 45-degree angle to the tree.
Yeah.
And that's how you bring out the figure that's there. Most trees are not cut that way. And by the way, most of the figuring is within 2 feet of the root.
So
that's where all the
so
stress
what does
is.
figuring mean?
Figuring is the ribbon candy look of a piece of wood.
Okay. I want to show the back because this, as much as I love the front, the back, I'm going to sort of do like a Vanna White sort of twirl. I'm overusing her name. But this, it's so pretty. You've got the real blonde on the front, and then it's sort of brunettish, I guess. But you got the bead that goes around here, which is lighter than the front. And then then you get the nice contrast here, and it's contoured really nicely. Even like, I know you did this creatively. There's a cute little bump going here. You probably remember when you had the sander in your hand and you made that creative choice, right?
There's reasons for that bump being there on both sides.
Probably related to the wood.
I wanted it to look like a woman.
Oh, I knew there was something to it.
There we go.
I knew there was something to it.
You know what? I think it's Farina, who designed not the Testarossa, maybe the Lamborghinis.
Okay.
Said that a car should be shaped like a woman, and I believe that a guitar should be shaped like a woman.
Interesting.
So sensual, and you just want to pick it up and play.
Right. Well, that's interesting because I knew it. Like I just built a little thing for my daughter.
Okay.
And it was one part where I just sort of did a carve out. I didn't need to, but
Right.
I just felt like I wanted it there. And when I give it to her, I'm going to explain to her that this was an important little choice I made. And I'm looking at this like you made a choice when it's a little sharp right here.
Yep.
And then you matched it. And this one, I don't know if the camera. I think the camera will pick it up. There's a divot and then it goes sharp, and then there's a little divot and then it goes sharp, and it just adds such an interesting creative look. Yeah, it's definitely getting picked up nicely. But right here, you divot in and then sharp, divot in and then sharp. Very pretty. I love it.
It was a labor of love.
I bet it was. And then you did the same thing here. Now that I feel it, it goes in a little, and then up. This is fantastic. And then your hardware has all sorts of creative choices going on. You know, the blue I love, and then this sort of cover for the
whole, yeah.
whole. It's creative, and it's sort of a 60s kind of thing. Like it's like a flower child.
Yeah, it's a little Mandela I picked up somewhere, and there's all different kinds of them that you can get at different stores. And
you're painting these blue, I take it, right?
Yeah, that's not anodized. That's painted blue.
Right.
All of the hardware. And blue and orange are opposites on a color wheel, so I thought that they'd make each other pop.
No, it does. This whole thing pops, and even the machine heads. You know, you've got blue here for the machine heads, and on the front, the machine heads too. I also even noticed you took black and the black sort of
I wanted to do something with it, but I wasn't sure. Later on, I wound up putting stingers on the back, so to make little diamonds on the back of it.
It's very cool. All right, I think I'm going to
Okay.
make you, even though I want to talk about him,
Okay.
Scott brought him over. That's after you went crazy.
Oh, okay.
That is after you went crazy.
So I was like, okay, I've made
A gorgeous.
10 of these.
Yeah. Oh, you
And
have?
sold most of them.
Okay.
And I'm like, I just can't do the same thing for the rest of my life. Us ADD people, we can't put Fords together.
Right, right.
You know, so I have all these ideas all the time. I decide what not to build every day. And this is my pano caster.
So if I'm hungry.
You can cook an egg on that. Oh, I wouldn't advise it. I cook a lot.
But by the way, that's Calphalon, which is not cheap. I'm reading.
No, I cook dinner every night.
Yeah.
And I love to cook, and I go through this stuff. And
Calphalons are good pans.
if I'm not careful, we wind up eating the coating.
Yeah. Oh,
You can't use any kind of metal on those things.
Yeah.
So this is a 12-inch, I think, and I took the handle off of another Calphalon and bolted it on, so we have the pano caster.
It's hysterical. If you can reach over and pick it up.
Oh,
I think
and
the line is long enough.
It's fun, and
let's trade.
it's heavy as heck.
All right. So I'm going to take a look at your cooking
Put
surface.
this on the side here.
All right.
I think we'll be okay.
No, wait.
Yep.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're
All
good.
right. So this is just wonderfully crazy. So first of all, Calphalon right here.
Calphalon.
We got the label. This is a nice heavy pan. It's a good solid pan. What I also like is you didn't buy this pan new to make the product. This pan has seen a lot of good meals.
Years of cooking, yeah.
Again, I haven't had a Calphalon in years, but I love Calphalon. The handles are solid. These are great Calphalon. They're solid. So the front, this is so cool.
Another piece of figured maple.
Yeah, look at that. So if you look carefully, you can see this really nice depth.
Yeah, the flame moves.
Yeah, it
I love
absolutely
that.
does. It's nice. You put just one humbucker in here.
And it's just something I took off of something else. And this is an electric grounding bridge.
Oh, interesting.
I got from Home Depot. So I can get a tailpiece from Home Depot. And
wait, hold on. So a grounding bridge is
it's
what?
a ground block for a inside of an electrical panel.
Oh, so I'm looking at it. Let's see if we can get this. I'm sure we can. If we can get a tight shot of the grounding bridge. There we go.
So the hardware store is a cornucopia of ideas for me. I see other ways to use things you wouldn't see.
Right, and you've got some pretty heavy, three-quarter-inch bolts holding it up?
Yeah, three-quarter-inch bolts
Yeah.
holding the screws going through that into the maple, which are pre-drilled, so it's not ever going to move.
Right, right.
And then
there's a little bend to it, I see.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of stress on those strings.
I'm thinking the same thing, yeah, because the strings are trying to fight what you accomplished here.
I forget what it is. I think it might be 1,000 pounds of fully 6 strings may exert 1,000 pounds on the tailpiece.
That's an interesting statistic.
Yeah,
Scott, did you know that? 1,000 pounds. That's pretty cool. And then the bridge that's a real bridge.
It's a real bridge, a cheap bridge, because the concept was let's just throw together something fun.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
It didn't have to sound like a $5,000 guitar. It was just.
But this is just so cool. And I would think if you wanted to play it, that's going to do something interesting with the sound.
It's very metallic.
Yeah, and it's not going to have sustain very much, I would think.
It'll have tons of sustain.
So I'm the exact
because
the exact opposite of what I said.
Because it's maple, and this is never going to move.
So all right. So let me just try to understand this. So all right. So you've got the maple connected right here.
Okay. Yeah. It's got 4 screws.
Yeah, right there. So I would have thought that because of just sort of.
It's not going to be warm. It's going to be shrill.
That I would expect, but I would not expect sustain. I would expect dense wood, but not this. But I'm wrong, apparently.
It'll have a lot of sustain, but it'll be shrill. It won't be a guitar you want to sit and strum.
Right.
Because when you plug it in, it's going to scream at you.
Yeah.
Because it's metal, and there's no resonant.
There's no dampening.
There's no dampening, but there's no resonance. There's no mahogany making you mellow. There's all maple and aluminum.
But it might be the opposite of warm, but it's the exact cool that you want.
You know what? These people put their guitars through 3 or 4 pedals, and by the time you do that, the soul of the guitar is lost anyway.
Right, yeah. Right. I mean, some of our early shows, someone brought a boogie on, and I thought, that's an amp.
Yeah.
That's an amp.
Yeah.
So, all right, just because it's convenient, I'm going to go with this guy. He's heavy. He's very heavy.
Oh, yeah, he's heavy as heck. So this is my alumina. which is made of a series of aluminum billets from a job site that I worked. And they were throwing all this crap away.
Oh my God, there's a watch on there I just
Yeah,
saw.
I put a watch, I put a little chain on. See, you're chained to life, but you only have so much time.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
So this is another aluminum ground block from a electrical service box. And this is a rolling bridge, which I experimented with. And they're too flexible, really hard to keep the guitar in tuned or intoned.
Right.
And then a cheap, this came out of a Fender Strat copy that I just took it off to have a pickup.
Unfancy pickup.
It is a working guitar. I'll show you the back. It's a working guitar, and it's horrible. I put this in, and all you hear is so. But it's a concept. It's just something I thought of, and I have all this stuff lying around.
Yeah.
So I might as well make the good use of it. Okay.
I'm really. Oh my God, is that heavy? I am digging it. There we go.
And
I could
if
cut
you're not
myself.
careful,
Look, I'm gonna
you
do
wind
this.
up with
So I can cut myself
That's how
on
I
it.
play it, right?
Yeah.
You put a piece of leather on
Tune
your leg.
this one.
Yeah, I've been trying to tune for like
at
2
that.
days, bringing everything in.
It's super cool. I love the watch hanging from it, the symbolism of it. All right, Scott just brought over. Is that a tombstone?
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is crazy.
So when you
look at this. I feel like I'm in Disney World and I'm going through the Haunted Mansion.
these are actually.
Oh my God, there's a cockroach on it.
Yeah, I did that for fun. There's a cockroach and there's a big ant in the
So here's the cockroach.
and the ant's up in the tuning pegs.
Oh, that's a pretty damn big ant. And I love.
And I made it as dirty as I could
Oh
because
my
I want it
God.
to be realistic. It
This-
is a working guitar, but it doesn't have much of a sound.
Oh, it's all right. The bug is in
Yeah,
it.
and it needs to be tuned. It needs new strings,
I
but
love this. Look, there's even like a little piece of dust right here.
it's a nice display piece
Yeah.
for the guitar shows. This and the coffin guitar were
Yeah.
concepts I thought of at the same time.
This is fantastic. So, I love this bridge.
That's
right
a
here.
draw pull from Lowe's.
Oh my God. That's hysterical. I was about to say you got this from some cool, interesting guitar.
No, it's just a draw pull. And I see like lots of other uses for things I see.
So I love the way your brain works. Is you're looking at things in life and seeing possibility instead of probability.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Sometimes you can make things work, and sometimes you can't.
Right, and you only
This
learn
worked.
when you try.
Right. So I drilled a lot of these out.
Wow.
I ruined a lot of hardware to get to that point, but
Wow,
I got there.
Go like this. You've got your fingers, so that's good.
I got all my. Oh well, I cut this third of this one off,
All right.
and it grew back.
You're like a lizard.
My superpower is healing,
Yeah.
and I drilled a 3/8 inch bit through that,
Wait.
drilling a guitar,
Wow.
holding the back of it like an idiot.
Right, right.
And I only realized I was an idiot when it went through and tagged me.
Wow.
So
we have more guitars than we have time. We have a little over 4
okay.
minutes left.
Okay, 4 minutes
So
left.
Scott brought
Very
that one
quickly.
over. I want to see that
Very
bad
quickly,
boy.
this is my Psychocaster,
Oh my God.
and this weighs 400 pounds.
Oh
so
my God, it does.
I got an idea
Holy shit.
to make
What is this piece? Is this a sword?
those.
What is this?
Those are scythes. I got those are scythe blades. So I got an idea
Like scythe when you cut like grass?
when you winnow hay.
Yeah, or when you make an interesting movie and there's like some scene and,
And a guy with a mask.
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
But yes, so I made a big one called the King Scythe. This is the Psychocaster because it's modeled after a Stratocaster. Maple top, mahogany back.
Yeah, it's actually, there's real craftsmanship.
So the
Which is
saw
cool.
blades I had to take a torch to because they're too hard to drill through. They're hardened steel. You got to take a torch to them.
God. And you put Seymour Duncans on here.
I know. Right?
And I like the fact that the bolts are kind of loose. They're just sort
Yeah,
of like fidgets.
it's been beat up so much. It's been to so many shows and stuff. But these are nuts with solder poured in them, and then I
They're
drill
like
them
the
out.
owner.
What's that? Yeah, it's very holy. Thank you. But it was a lot of fun. I made like 4 or 5 of them.
This is fantastic. So what I love is they're not one-offs. You know, you're
I'll make a run of 3 to 6,
right. This is fantastic.
and then I'll move on.
Wow.
There's a band called the Undead
Okay.
with Bobby Steele from the Misfits.
Okay.
And his wife Diana plays one of those, and she loves it. Hers is a one that extends past the neck. I call it the King Scythe. It's got a huge blade, And she's this little thing, and she loves this guitar.
Oh,
so she has a good time with it.
And you know, this would be good for chiropractors if someone started using it, because then they would their back would give out, and then.
This is heavier than a Les Paul.
Oh my God, this is so heavy. It's not neck heavy though. It's kind of balanced.
Yeah, there's a lot going on
And
here.
you have it. You have the connectors for the straps. You're not messing around here.
No, it's actually a working guitar.
Yeah. And it probably has good sound. It's got a nice solid body here.
It's plenty of sustain.
I would think that these add some rigidity to it. You know, it's crazy.
Well, they'll add different tones.
Yeah, that's very cool.
You want to see another guitar?
I do not.
Okay.
And you know why? Because
we have no time.
We have no time.
Okay.
So, in about a minute or so, tell me what's next for you.
Well, I'm going to finish the album called Alternator.
Right.
I'm going to. I want to be in touch. If anyone's interested, I want to write movie scores.
Holy shit!
I'm already in the middle of
like
a dozen on GarageBand, sort of ethereal soundtracks. I'm already working on them. I've been working on them for months.
That's how you stay creative,
and
you're always in a really wonderful way switching.
So that's really the next step, and doing the honey-do list. Which will take the rest of my life.
That is absolutely fantastic. Let's do one last toast. Thank you for
to you, my friend.
Oh,
this was wonderful.
You know,
what an experience.
Thank you. We say here on Guitar Tales, people walk in strangers and we leave friends, and it's true. So
very good, very good.
I want to take this chance to thank everyone. I want to start with all the people who tune in to Facebook, to YouTube, to Spotify, to Audible, all the different places you watch us. Everyone here at Riverview Studios. I say it on every show. Take a tour, go on their website. If you need any kind of filming of any kind, check out Riverview Studios. There'll be a link in the show. There'll be a link for all sorts of great stuff. Standing off over there, my dear friend of almost 40 years, Scott Guitarmacist Engel. That's right. Scott lined up the show. He does our promotion.
Thank you, buddy.
And here we are. Thank you, everyone. This is season 4. This is a show of love. We try to spread love as much as we can, and I mean that. We're thrilled to have you guys listening to us. We're thrilled to have you guys watching us, and all our dear friends at Riverview Studios. We will be back for more great episodes both here and on Zoom, and thanks to our friends at Riverview, they will be beautifully edited. Everyone, have a wonderful night. Take care.
Salud.
Salud. One more.
One more. There you go.